Okay, going to be talking about Fedor Chudinov versus Umar Sadiq. The fight last night in Russia for the WBA super middleweight gold title. Thank you very much, YouTube. Just it's good to know that I'm live. Okay, so first thoughts. My prayers go out to Umar Sadiq at this time, who was hospitalized last night after being stopped by Fedor Chudinov in the 12th round. Reports were coming out of Russia that he was spitting, he was coughing blood. So he got hospitalized and was on oxygen. The stoppage was a quite a sickening stoppage in the end. But I want to I want to take this all back. How did Umar Sadiq end up being in the ring with Chudinov? So first, everything after this is an afterthought. So, I thought he did very well in the fight. I thought he handled himself very well. I thought he showed lots of balls. He showed lots of heart. He showed lots of courage. He showed a very good engine. He showed he was in a fight of his life, quite literally. So you saw deep down what Umar Sadiq was about. So you saw it. That was in a fight of his life. He could have given nothing more in the tank. He could have done no better in that particular situation. He gave the best that he could in that fight. But I'm gonna take this way back. People who look at this performance and say, "Well, he could have worked his conditioning, or he could have done this." We're going straight back, going way back. Go back. How did Umar Sadiq end up being in a ring fighting a guy like Fedor Chudinov? He could not even achieve the things that Fedor Chudinov had achieved as an amateur, let alone as a pro. Now, this message is for young boxers. A lot of young boxers today, a lot of them want to make it rich quick. They want to get a few knockout over jobs. Guys that they knock over real quick, they get a record of 8-0, 10-0, 12-0, and there are people, uninformed people across the YouTube galaxy, across Twitter, and across Facebook that are blowing smoke up their asses. They want to jump from prospect to champion without doing the hard graft, without doing the work that is necessary. They walk around town, they walk around boxing shows. I'm X, I'm Mr. X, or I'm Miss Y, and I'm on TV. I'm on Sky Sports. You look at me. I'm looked at by all the people. Look at me. I'm on Sky News. I'm on Sky Sports. I'm a big thing because I'm on TV. You're not on TV. I'm on TV. Just tune in. You can see me do my stuff. I'm the big shot. I'm this. I'm that. The level of opposition they're fighting really shouldn't warrant them being on TV. But they're on TV because the promoter backs them one way, shape, or form, and they think they're a big shot. They think they're big. Oh, I'm getting a world title shot. I'm getting the opportunity to fight for a world title. I look at me. I'm on TV. I'm in Russia. I'm seen by millions of people. I'm this and that. Well, hold on a second. You're being seen on TV once. You might not get seen on TV again. And when you do get seen on TV, you end up embarrassing yourself. I'm not saying this is the case for Umar Sadiq, but there are situations where you go on TV and you make a complete embarrassment of yourself. The reason why Umar Sadiq had to dig so deep in this fight, the reason why Anthony Yarde had to dig so deep in that fight against Kovalev is this. You haven't done the graft, you haven't done the hard work and fought the guys that would give you the experience to move up and learn. When you box and you fight different styles, like, you might box one guy and you realize when you were using your jab, you maybe you weren't, your range wasn't right. The time this guy was stepping around your jab, or you were throwing the jab and it wasn't landing as comfortably as it was. Or every time you threw the jab, you're getting countered on top by the right hand. When you go back in the gym, you then go back in gym and you work on those things. But in every fight, you hit a guy with a jab, the guy stumbles back. You hit a guy with a right hand, the guy falls over. You're thinking the greatest thing since sliced bread. You really think that you are, pardon my French, a dog's bollocks? You think you're the man? I'm the man. I knocked over 12 guys. I knocked over 12 guys. I'm on TV. I got a sponsorship deal. Yeah, I got JD sponsoring me. Yeah, I got a nice pair of trainers. I got a new pair of boxing gloves. I got a new tracksuit. Okay, okay. So you think you're flashy? You think you're something special? You do all these worthless interviews. They end up being worthless because you don't last long enough. You're flash in the pan, and then you get up. You go into a big fight. You get into a big fight and you get exposed. Now this fight here with Umar Sadiq, I was wondering why Fedor Chudinov picked Umar Sadiq, and it's quite obvious. Sadiq couldn't punch. He couldn't punch, and his boxing ability was average. Great boxing ability, and he was inexperienced. Now here's the things that like you could pick up straight away from an inexperienced fighter. You come out the first round, you're throwing loads of punches. Second round, throwing loads of punches. Third round, come out throwing loads of punches. Loads of punches. And you can't at mid range and at close range, you're still trying to throw the same sort of punches as you are at long range. So you're throwing big looping right hands which are missing. Chudinov is blocking them. So Chudinov, the experienced fighter, was able to block punches. Yeah, he got caught with some punches, but Sadiq wasn't a murderous puncher. He wasn't like a George Groves, for example. So Chudinov was able to suck up, take a lot of punches, catch him with his arms and his gloves, and keep walking forward. Sadiq wasn't a puncher. So Sadiq did a lot of work. He was out, like I said in my commentary, he was out punching Chudinov, but he was out punching himself. Then in the middle of the fight, he turned southpaw. Why was he turning southpaw? When to me, he was doing well from the outside. But what happens is when you lack experience, you run out of ideas quickly because okay, hit the guy with the right hand, he hasn't gone anywhere. Hit the guy with my best left jab, he ain't gone nowhere. I've rammed that left jab home, he's still coming. Now what do I do? Okay, he's backing me up against the ropes. He's whacking me to my body. He's hitting me with a left hook to the body. He's coming upstairs and throwing uppercuts at me. I'm not tightening him up on the inside. This guy's constantly on me. He's constantly pushing on me. He's pushing more on my gas tanks. I'm having to work harder. And I don't quite know how to keep the guy off me. So if I just keep throwing punches, I keep throwing punches without tying the guy up. Well, guess what? If I keep throwing punches, it'll keep him off me. So what basically doing, Chudinov is actually setting the pace. And he's all right by just tucking up and walking you down, working to the body. Listen, did do some nice stuff, Sadiq. But things that an experienced pro would have done is use the jab and box. But when he got to close range, tie up. Or when he was up close, when Fedor was coming close, throw the uppercut. Yes, Russell, hope you well. Throw the uppercut. You know, when he gets certain mid-range, throw the uppercut. But too often, Sadiq was throwing too many punches, wild punches, big punches are missing. And when you throw them big punches and you're missing, with big bits of air you're hitting air and not hit the target, that takes it out of you. And you're throwing 50, 60 punches around. And you're being forced into a situation that you're not normally not normally in because the opposition you fought have been so poor or the opposition you fought before hasn't been to this level. The problem is when you're fighting, your gas tank runs out a lot quicker. Then you're fighting in Russia. You never fought in anywhere in your life as big as that. This is big time. From small hall to maybe a couple of thousand watching you fight to 50, 60,000 people watching. It's a lot different. You're in Russia now. You understand? It's a different situation. And you're away from home. Ain't nobody doing you any favors. No referee's going to do you no favors. When the guys on the inside working, the home fighters on the inside, you got home commentators, home judges, home referee. Who's going to do you any favors? When you're boxing in England, it's doing your own thing. Use your jab, throw your right hand, sneak a little punch in here and there. Jimmy, everyone gets wise after the event. But the fact of the matter is, he lacked experience. And a lot of people across YouTube, a lot of them, this here is the sort of management that the YouTube management or the Twitter management have. A guy has 10 fights, 12 fights, he's unbeaten, he ain't fought nobody, but he looks great. He looks fantastic. Let's stick him in for a world title. He's good enough. He'll beat all these experienced pros. And you see over and over and over again. There we go. Listen to Ruben. Ruben is typical. If you ever want to learn about boxing car crash management, listen to Ruben. He'll tell you. Oh, Umar need another step up from Cody Davis fight. Okay, what you say next? Umar, 2 losses, has shown he's a good fighter. Okay. Chelly last fight was class, but he had a good showing last night. Okay. Who the hell is Cody Davis and Zach Chelly? Who are they? Who are they in comparison to Fedor Chudinov, a former world champion who's been in the ring like with Felix Sturm and George Groves? 2 world champions in their own rights. How many world titles has Cody Davis fought? 1. How many world titles has Zach Chelly won? My point is this. You've got nowhere near that. And you've taken a big gulp, big jump in class. You're not a puncher. You're not a puncher. And you're taking a chance. An experienced fighter now, he would have learned an experience. You know what? I can't throw all them punches like that. So he punched himself out and got dehydrated. That's what I suspect has happened to him. Car crash. And this is why Tony Cisse was praying and was worried for Umar, because he knew what was going on. And this is the sort of thing that what happens when you rush a fighter. You might be on TV today, but what's going to keep people coming back and watching you on TV? What's going to make you a household name? By being consistent and being able to come back on TV over and over and over again. How old is Whit? 30, 32? So let's look at it this way from a business perspective. Why was he given a world title shot? I'll tell you why he possibly was given a world title shot. 30, 32 years old. Where are you going with your career? What are you doing? If you're saying you're the man, you're saying you're a big man, you can fight. Okay, there's a world title shot. Let's see what you can do with it. If you win the world title, hey, we can do business together. If not, you need to be moving on. That's how a manager or promoter moves you on. They're sticking a world title fight. They're under the contract. Well, I'll get you a world title shot. So I get you the world title shot. And it's up to you. It's up to you because you're not doing what you should be doing. Your attitude is not one of a man that you've got to go for the gears, and you haven't shown that you can go for the gears. Do you understand? So that's what can happen. Do you reckon weight might have been an issue? It don't matter if he was weighing 168 pounds or 175 pounds. It wouldn't have made a difference. Technique. He was cuffing with punches. He was missing big with right hands. He was stepping in when he was throwing punches and overreaching and leaving himself exposed. He did do some good defensive work when he was on the ropes. Do you know? Slipped a few punches from Chudinov. But if Chudinov was any real puncher, he'd have been in trouble. He left himself in lots of positions, a lot of awkward positions, a lot of times. So his boxing ability is okay. It's all right. I thought he was doing really well. I thought he was up on the cards and winning the fight. And I thought that if he'd gone to the 12th round and he could stay on his feet, he would have beaten Chudinov. That's what I thought. But we're in Russia, and they weren't just going to give Umar Sadiq any favors. So my advice to you young fighters, and I'll tell you something, you young fighters, you're in for a hell of a ride. Now that COVID's come around and these promoters are wanting to see who their next star is and wanting to get people off their books quick fast, you're going to see a lot of these young fighters in fights they probably would not have taken normally. Ruben, the jab and right hand was landing well. Was it? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The jabs were landing good, and the right hands were landing good. That was straight, but the looping right hands were missing for the most part. So and there was no snap at them punches. There was no snap on those punches whatsoever, and he was cuffing with the right hand. Now, I don't know. I thought he outworked Chudinov, but he outworked Chudinov and punched himself out. That's down to experience. He'll never do that again, that's for sure, as a boxer. But at 32 years old, I think he's 32. Um, I don't know what Umar Sadiq does now. How they can change his style. He's not a puncher in the super middleweight division. So people want devastating knockouts. People want people who've got personality and charisma. Has he got that? I don't know. Does he sell tickets? I don't know. But this is a real situation here. This is a case study of what happens when you lack experience at the highest level and you decide to go for it. I mean, let's use the McDonald's example. You don't come into McDonald's working the first day and they teach you how to flip a burger, and the next day you're running the business. That is not good. That's not good management. You go through the gears. You learn your trade. And you learn your trade. You do it well. Forget all the stuff all that on TV and stuff. You'll stay on TV if you learn your trade. If you learn your trade and you take meaningful fights at the right time, and your career is not managed by what people say on Twitter or what they say on Facebook or what they say on YouTube or any form of social media. Forget what the fans are not you. Take your time, learn your career, learn the fights, have the good learning fights, learn your trade. A lot of these fighters, they make the same mistakes and they get away with it at British level. And they think that when they go to world level, they can get away with the same mistakes. I say it again, and I'll keep on saying it. If you're getting tagged with big shots at British level by non-punchers, what is going to happen when you step up to world level? You will get flattened at world level. If you've got a leaky defense through your career, your defense is leaky at British level, at European level, your defense is leaky, you're getting knocked down by guys who are non-punchers or guys that are not big punchers. What is going to happen when you fight a really big puncher who's accurate? It all calculates you getting knocked out pretty badly. You can't expect to have a puncher in your tires and you set out for a journey to travel from one point to another point, and you've got flat tires or you've got a puncher in your tire and you keep ignoring the puncher. What's going to happen? You've got empty in the tank, we're just going to ignore it. We're just going to get there in a hope we'll get there. You've got nothing in the tank where you're trying to get to a location. You ain't got petrol you're not putting petrol in the tank. Hopefully we don't see something when Okoli fights Glowacki. But listen, when Glowacki fights Okoli, it's only a case of whether Glowacki can get past all that grappling stuff and he can step to Okoli and get on the inside. If Glowacki can get on the inside of Okoli and hit him on the chin, he knocks Okoli out. It's just a matter of if Glowacki can get. I need to go and look at Glowacki again to know if he'll knock Okoli out. Like I said, Okoli is like Henry Wonder. He's got that sort of mentality. And if somebody hits, I'm telling you now, if somebody hits Okoli hard and stuns him, he'll shut up shop. He'll go in complete defensive mode. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys that are walking around today are doing a lot of stuff they're doing today. It's just time. You don't you don't get tagged with big punches at a lower level. The last guy fought for in the European title fight, right? Go back and look at that fight of Coley. He got hurt in that fight. And he didn't like it, and I didn't like the reaction he saw. I didn't like his reaction. I didn't like the way he reacted to them punches. So you're talking about, you see, you're a fine one, Ruben. You've got this big thing about Okoli and Boatsi. Names don't win fights. Names don't win fights. Punches win fights. Technique wins fights. Boxing IQ wins fights. Diligence does wins fights. Doing your research, respecting the opponent wins fights. When you don't pay attention to the opponent, when you set up poor game plans, when you don't do the work in the gym, when you're not realistic about who you're fighting and what you're fighting, what you're up against mentally and emotionally, when you take in this immature attitude that, I've been knocking these guys out at this level, yeah, I'm the man. So what I've been doing at area level, I can do at world level. Okay. Let's see it then. There's nothing suggest in your resume you can do that. But now you're gonna go and take a world title shot. Okay. And you can't punch. Okay. You know what I mean? So he's gonna fight Glowacki. I'm gonna go and do a preview to that fight in a minute. I'm actually gonna go and look at Glowacki now, just for you, Ruben. And I'll tell you whether Lawrence Okoli can beat Glowacki. But all I know is that when Usyk fought him, Usyk was on a box and move against Glowacki. So I'm gonna go back and look at Glowacki again and see what he does. This is a guy that's knocked up Michael Hook. All right, so he can punch and he takes a good shot as well. But I'm gonna look at Glowacki again. Thank you very much there, Russell. It'll be good hearing experience from good learning experience. Good learning experience. I swear, I've never heard somebody talk so much rubbish in my life. This experience with him getting battered by I think it's a good experience. It's not a good learning experience at all. It's a humbling experience. It's not a good experience. Getting this done to you in sparring is a good experience. Getting this done to you in front of loads of people in Russia is a humbling experience. There's a difference. My word. My word. You think that by sticking Umar Sadiq in Russia against a guy who's got world ability or fought at world level against world class opposition, you think, and I don't think Fedor Chudinov is that good. I think he's very basic. Very basic. I mean, he does a lot of things wrong. I've never seen a man in my life box where he puts his gloves up against his chin and sticks his chin out and looks and has a look and see what's going on. I've never seen that. I've never seen that in boxing, where a guy sits on the ropes, he puts his hands by his chin, he pops his chin out like he looks out the window. Hello, what are you doing? I've never seen a guy do that. Never. Chudinov is very basic. I'm not saying I could beat him, but he's very basic. I believe Chris Eubank Jr. can beat Chudinov. Callum Smith, I don't know about Callum Smith, because Chudinov will walk him to the ropes. And Chudinov can fight on the ropes. It's just a matter of if Callum Smith can control the range with Chudinov, he beats Chudinov. Billy Joe Saunders will run through guys like Chudinov. He make a mockery of Chudinov. That's the sort of guy that Billy Joe Saunders should be defending his WBO title against. Chudinov. Do you understand? It's okay posing with former great fighters. It's okay being on television, talking and doing interviews, but the fighting. It's all right snapping on Instagram. It's all right going to walking around the town, give it Mr. Charlie, I'm the man. But when it comes down to it, we're paying you to be a boxer. We're paying you to fight. Can you fight? That's it. And that's what the promoter wants to know. Can you fight? Yes or no? Are you in good investment? And after every fight, he's looking, are you a good investment? Are you a good investment? Are you a good investment? And you're going to see a lot more fighters losing and getting out of contracts. Or you're going to see a lot more fighters. I'm telling you now, you'll see a lot more fighters in fight thinking, why the hell is he fighting for a world title? Why is he fighting for a world title? That's a way to get guys off the books. So I expect to hear much more from the hype room shortly, and hear more stories from hype room of people getting well title fights that don't deserve them, so they can be slung out a contract. If my contract for me to honor my contract with you is that you get a world title fight, yeah, I'll get a world title for you. I'll send you to the cleaners. If you win a world title, great. If you don't, I'll continue work with you. And if you don't, goodbye. I've done my bit. I've served you. He has been hospitalized. I said this already earlier on. So Mr. Ruben Guerrero thinks this is a great experience for him. It's not a great experience for him. That boy was fighting for his life. There's difference between fighting for your life and you have got the ability to defend yourself, and you have the ability to not overextend yourself to the point where he literally fought on adrenaline. Those last few rounds he fought on adrenaline. The fight was 3 weeks notice. So I don't know what sort of fitness Umar had. So he really used every inch of ability he had in that fight. So it will not be a good learning experience for Umar. He may never box again, and if he does, he'll never be the same fighter again. Mark my words, he'll never be the same fighter again. Could have been dangerous right there. Yeah, that was not good looking at all. Yeah, it wasn't. You look at the end of the fight. Look at the end of the fight. The camera cuts away, but literally as he gets stopped, yeah, and Chudinov kind of cuts away, he just sags against the ropes. He was exhausted. So he fought on pure adrenaline, and credit to him for that. But why, oh why, oh why was he in the ring with Fedor Chudinov? I don't know. Right, so I think I'm going to go and do my research on Mr. Okoli now and Mr. Gowacki, and then I'll come back to you about it, Mr. Because I'm fed up of hearing about you talking about Okoli. I mean, I just think he's Henry Akinwande Mark II. I don't see what's so great about him. He just fights like Henry Akinwande. If anybody remembers Henry Akinwande, long octopus arms from long range, won the world title, knocking out. Who did he knock out to become world champion? Then he fought Scott Welsh to become. Who did he knock out to become world champion? I think it's Jeremy Williams he knocked out to become world champion. And ultimately got knocked out by Oliver McCall. And why did he get knocked out by Oliver McCall? Because Oliver McCall had a good chin, got on inside, and landed a big right hand. And that was the end. Henry Akinwande's key fight, probably when he fought Lennox Lewis and he dropped Lennox Lewis in that fight. But what happened when Lennox got on top of Akinwande? Akinwande got disqualified for holding. That's the sort of thing I expect to see from Lawrence Okoli's career. Disqualified for holding. That's the sort of thing I'm expecting. We'll see. I could be totally wrong about this Henry Akinwande thing, but I see Henry Akinwande and I see Lawrence Okoli and I see the same sort of wild-eyed. You know who else Lawrence Okoli reminds me of? This guy, Kid Chocolate, that fought and got knocked out in a round by Danny Jacobs. Similar sort of style. What's crazy move taking it at short notice. Sadiq was originally supposed to fight Leron Richards, but Richards delayed it for personal reasons. The Mastiff offered Umar good money to go to Russia. Watch Omar Navarrete's latest fight, world champion in total mismatch. Killer kill the guy. No surprise there. The Ron Sadiq fight would have been a good matchup. Yeah. They say LeRon's a bit special though, so I just think that now Sadiq has got his world title fight now, so it's just a case of cashing him in, I guess, like that sort of situation. Yeah, that would have been a better fight. So do you think Sadiq could beat Chris Eubank Jr.? I don't think so. LeRon, nice boxer. Yeah, that doesn't mean you should have a world title shot, Ruben. So yeah, so there we go. And when I come back, I'm going to do Gowacki versus Okoli. I'll have a look at Okoli now. I'll do my in fact, I might do my research live with you guys now. I might do a live research. So all right, I'll be back soon, guys, with my Gowacki versus Lawrence Okoli breakdown. See you in a moment. Thank you all for watching once again. Big up to Russell Hawkins. Check out his stuff on Combat Radio on YouTube. Check it out.